Ready? Good evening. Welcome to the Town Council meeting for Monday, October 9th. Please join me in standing for the invocation. Invocation will be given by Dr. Durham Barnes.
Let's pray together. God, we give you thanks for the privilege of being here, being a part of this community. Thank you for the town leaders, these who sacrifice their time and energy to support the work of this town, this community. We give you thanks for the privilege of being here. We ask for your blessing upon the work of this town council. Will you give them wisdom? Thank you for our mayor, for his leadership, and I pray for their discussions tonight. Give them wisdom in all that they do. I pray for our community, for our state, for our country. God, I pray for peace in Israel. I pray for your wisdom on those making decisions. I pray for the grace of the Lord on the families who've lost loved ones in the attacks. And God, we ask for the wisdom in all of our decisions that we might walk faithfully before you. So be with this meeting tonight and all their deliberations. Thank you for them in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor, for being here. Would you join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Good evening, Council, staff and members of the audience. We welcome you to the Town Council meeting for Monday, October 9th. Time is 7:05. For the record, we have all council members present and there is quorum. I'm going to ask you later today we have public hearing items. If anyone is here to speak on any of the items on the public hearing items, I'm going to ask that you fill up. Rachel, can you? There's a form. There are copies of form right there. And please fill in those forms and submit to our town secretary, Rachel. And there is a 3-minute limit for the speaker. The first item is announcements. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.0415, Mayor, Council, and staff may report on various items: expression of thanks, congratulations or condolences, information about holiday schedules, recognition of individuals, reminders about upcoming town council events, information about community events, announcements involving imminent threat to public health and safety. Staff, do you have any, council, do you have any announcements? Mr. Eldridge?
I just want to thank town staff for working so hard and fast on these roads. It's been great. I live right next to Tripp, and it's been quite a enjoyment driving down that road and not spilling coffee on myself. So I enjoy the new roads quite a bit. Thank you, guys.
And I'm going to echo the same. I got, obviously it's inconvenience, but I got a lot more compliments on the quality of the roads and the pace at which we are completing the roads. And I told them that it's not one crew, it's 4 or 5 crews working at the same time. So thank you to everyone. And we get a lot of feedback when something doesn't go right. And rarely get feedback when something goes right, but I've been getting good feedback, so I want to pass that on to the staff. And also, just for the record, we finished our Texas Municipal League conference this past week. Some of the council members and some of the staff were in attendance. We got some really good feedback on the Texas legislative updates, some of the best practices, use of artificial intelligence in improving the municipal services. We got a lot of input on how best to apply for the infrastructure, federal infrastructure funds, and there's a lot of good sessions were there. So thank you, Rachel, for helping us coordinate all those events. Staff, do you have any updates? I'm sorry, Mr. Clark?
I also want to thank the police and the fire and the staff for a great National Night Out last week. It was really good, I think well attended, and just a great event. So thank you all for all your hard work on that.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Clark. I was going to record the same thing. It was a phenomenal event, just really, really well done. Announcement for the staff.
Mayor, we do have a couple of upcoming events that Rachel wants to share with everyone for, I think, the month of November. And I'm not sure that we also have a drug take-back coming in October as well. So we can have Chief Vegas and Rachel tell you a little bit about those.
I'll leave drug take back to Chief Vegas, but I have Veterans Day Saturday, November the 11th from 9 to 11. Turkey trot on Thanksgiving Day. Check-in starts at 7. Race begins at 7:30. And also, we have our Christmas tree lighting event on December the 1st from 5:30 to 7:30 here at Town Hall. So we hope that y'all will all join us for that. Also, just a reminder that we only have one meeting in November and one meeting in December, and that's the first meeting of the month.
Thank you, Rachel. Are there any additional announcements?
Yes, Mayor, we also
Chief.
have,
Good evening, Chief.
hello. So on the 28th, starting at 10 a.m., we'll have drug take back. So that's anything and everything that is drug-related, from capsules to anything that you have. No questions asked. They can be in bags. Just bring them to the station and we'll discard them.
Thank you, Chief. Are there additional announcements? Okay. Moving on to the next item, public comments. This is the time members of the audience may come forward and speak to the council on any items other than legal or personal matters or items on the agenda. If you have any comments, come forward and speak to the council. You are limited to 3 minutes. At this time, I welcome anyone who would like to come forward and speak to the council. No one is coming forward, so I'm going to close the public comments. Council, we have one item on the consent agenda. Would you like to remove that item from the consent agenda? Okay, if not, can I have a motion to approve consent agenda item number 5?
Motion to approve consent agenda item number 5.
Motion made by Mr. Freeman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Allen. All in favor signify. All opposed, motion passed 7-0. Council, just for the benefit of the citizens, next item is an executive session, and we will be adjourning into an executive session to get some town council inputs. Following that, we will be back in open session, and we will continue our deliberations. With that, council, can I have a motion to adjourn into executive session pursuant to section 551.071, consultation with attorney, case number 1791Z, Long Creek Crossing MPD, concept plan amendment, and case 177 SP, Taco Bell site plan.
Make a motion to adjourn into executive session pursuant to section 551.071.
Motion made by Mr. Freeman. Do you have a second? Second by Mr. Allen to adjourn to executive session. All in favor signify. All opposed? Motion passed 7-0. Time is 7:11. We are in executive session. Thanks. Okay, now time is 8 o'clock. We are back in session. Moving on to the public hearing item portion of the agenda, item number 7. Pursuant to the appeal filed on September 28, 2023 from the Planning and Zoning Commission's decision, hold a public hearing, discuss, consider, and act upon the first reading of ordinance number 2023-16, approving a concept plan amendment for a master plan development, MPD, generally located at the southeast corner of South Collins Road and US Highway 80, known as the Long Creek Crossing MPD 02 zoning district, to allow a restaurant with a drive-through on Lot 2R, Long Creek Crossing Addition, case 1791-Z, Long Creek Crossing MPD concept plan amendment. Surupa, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Council. The application in front of you tonight is for this Long Creek Crossing Master Plan Development, which is also known as MPD 02 ordinance, and the concept plan amendment associated with that ordinance. The total area roughly is about 10 acres. On the aerial image, you can see the currently developed lots within that MPD. It contains a bunch of restaurants, medical offices at the intersection of Highway 80 and South Collins Road. So the request is simply to amend the concept plan to allow a restaurant with drive-through on Lot 2R, which is the vacant lot in between the current Chick-fil-A and the Starbucks lot, within the Long Creek Crossing addition. Pursuant to Section 4B of the MPD 02 ordinance, it says any proposed change to the approved concept plan locations for uses shall require an amended concept plan approval. That's what triggered this application in front of you. So this is the original concept plan that was part of the MPD 02 ordinance that was adopted in October of 2017. And the table on your slide kind of lists out the same lot numbers, the original 7 lots, with the uses that were assigned on the conceptual site plan. Total 7 lots, only 1 still undeveloped, and there are several site plan and plat application has been processed since 2017. Due to all these contour lines on the site plan that was on your screen before, I have also provided the conceptual landscape plan that's a bit easier to read on this scale. So it's the same plan, just a bit cleaner to read through the screen. This is the amending concept plan that has been submitted by the applicant for consideration tonight. As you can see, it kind of depicts all the existing uses as well as the proposed new use, which is the restaurant with drive-through on Lot 2, which is right next to the Chick-fil-A lot. The intent of the MPD 02 ordinance or the concept plan was to not have more than 2 drive-through restaurants at this project. It was expressed through the original concept plan to have more sit-down restaurants within the development. The applicant, at staff request, had also provided an updated traffic impact analysis, or which is referred to as the 2023 TIA, that concludes that the original premises for this project has been superseded and it has generated way more traffic at this development than was originally envisioned in 2017. That warrants a traffic signal to serve the entire Long Creek Crossing development as of now. As a result, staff is of the opinion that the concept plan amendment should not be approved. Approving the concept plan amendment is a legislative decision of council. Guided by state law as well as our UDO, we have sent 31 letters of notification within 200 feet of the subject property. 1 letter of support to this application was received, which is part of your packet. The Planning and Zoning Commission considered this request at the September 20th meeting and recommended denial of the request. Also, 5 residents spoke at the meeting in opposition of the request at the PNC meeting. The next slide, I have some site photos, but other than that, that's all I have for presentation tonight for this application. If you have any question for me, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Ms. Sen. Council, do you have any questions for staff? Okay. we may call you back on it later, but for now, let me, at this time, is the applicant here? Would you like to speak? Come on forward, sir. Good evening. Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Absolutely. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Suzanne Kedron, 2323 Ross Avenue. I'm with the firm Jackson Walker. We represent the owner of the property, Provident Realty Advisors, as well as the development partner of the Long Creek Master Plan Development. The Long Creek Master Plan Development was collaboratively created between the town, the 4B Corporation, and the community and our client. The MPD was approved in October 2017, 6 years ago, and at least one of you were on the council at that time. Since then, we've had 4 replats and 6 site plan applications. All 10 of those have been unanimously approved by all but one of you on this council. 7 of the 8 lots have been unanimously approved. Now, with the last and final lot to be developed, we are here today scratching our heads, wondering why we are here. What has changed since 2017, 6 years ago when this master plan development was adopted? What has changed in the last 6 site plans that were unanimously approved? What I can tell you has not changed is the law. The MPD was the law then, and it is the law now. You'll hear from my colleague, Ms. Morris, in greater detail, who will provide you some additional information. But the takeaways are simple. The approved MPD ordinance states that the concept plan is merely illustrative and not intended to be an exact or final representation of the specific development. And the restaurants with the drive-through facility are permitted by right at any location on the property. All that is very clear. It is in the law. It is in the MPD. The MPD ordinance clearly states that the town administrator can approve variations to the site plan. All that being said, we filed the amended concept plan over objection, yet in good faith that the law would be followed, and that's why we are here today. We've reached out on multiple occasions to find an amicable resolution to the matter, and most recently, this morning, you all received a letter from me stating our client's willingness to gratuitously provide a traffic light at the location in question. The staff report is misleading, to say the least. To state that there was an apparent intent that the MPD concept plan was to have no more than 2 drive-throughs is patently false. The illustrative concept plan approved with the MPD ordinance shows 3. The official meeting minutes specifically state that the intent and goal of the MPD is to assure that restaurants can come in by right without reference to location, type, or number. We have availed ourselves of a lengthy process that has been fraught with mischaracterizations and unresponsiveness. The one steadfast thing that is steadfast in this entire process is the law. It has not changed. The approved MPD ordinance is clear. The governing law has not changed in 6 years and 10 approvals later. We urge that this council follow the law. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cadron. Good evening.
Hello, Mayor, Town Council. My name is Victoria Morris. I'm also a land use attorney at Jackson Walker, 2323 Ross Avenue in Dallas. I will provide a historical count of the Long Creek Crossing Master Plan Development and its relation to the applications before you tonight. Oh, so Rupert, can we get the... Sorry. Okay, this MPD consists of 8 lots. 6 have been developed, 1 has been dedicated to the town as open space, and the last remaining parcel, the subject of today's discussion, is vacant land. Before you today are 2 applications, a concept plan amendment application and a site plan application for Taco Bell. The Taco Bell site plan will feature sit-down and drive-through options, which will complement the existing 4 restaurants with sit-down and drive-through capabilities. We'd like to just clarify that the applicant's request with regard to the concept plan amendment, the staff report incorrectly states that the purpose is to allow just the drive-through on Lot 2R, when in fact the purpose of this application is to accurately depict the current condition of the property as it exists today. So while this includes the proposed Taco Bell site, it also includes the 6 other parcels that have been modified since the original concept plan was approved. The current condition of 7 lots that have been unanimously approved by Town Council. The first item we'd like to discuss is the concept plan amendment review, which Ms. Kedron touched on. Section 3B of the MPD, which you can see above, clearly establishes that the town administrator has the authority to approve this concept plan amendment. Because the use is permitted by right, it is simply the location that requires the concept plan amendment. This delegation of authority was carefully contemplated during numerous public hearings and deliberations before the MPD was even adopted, and Town Council approved such delegation. And while we acknowledge that the MPD ordinance requires a concept plan amendment, we respectfully disagree that this requirement is to come before the council for approval. A concept plan amendment has never been required by the town until now. And to that end, the staff report seems to suggest that it is the developer's responsibility to request a concept plan amendment. It is not in an applicant or developer's purview to enforce a town ordinance, nor is it either party required to request such an amendment. This duty and responsibility to enforce the MPD ordinance lies solely with the town. The town has the duty and responsibility to require an amended concept plan and did not do so on 6 occasions. The only thing that we can deduce is that instead, the town approved these 6 site plans that were fundamentally consistent with the overall site, 4 of which were restaurants with sit-down and drive-through capabilities. And before you today is another site plan that is fundamentally consistent with the overall site, a restaurant with sit-down and drive-through capabilities. This is the concept plan amendment, which includes the proposed site plan and also includes the current existing condition of the property today. To deny this concept plan amendment is to deny what exists on the property today. We've prepared this overlay to show the existing concept plan versus what we are proposing as part of the amended concept plan. The black lines indicate the original property lines, and then the colorful outlines show the property as it exists today. As you can see, all of these lots have been reconfigured and contemplated as part of this development. The next item is just that this use is permitted by right at any location on the MPD property. Section 4B of the MPD ordinance, which is above, states that restaurants with or without drive-through facilities are permitted by right at any location on the property. The staff report incorrectly cites the council meeting minutes by stating that only 2 drive-through uses were contemplated, when in fact, the approved concept plan there we go. The approved concept plan contemplates 3 drive-through restaurants. Those are all outlined in yellow on your screen. The staff report also indicates that the intent of the PD was to have more sit-down restaurants. All 4 of the restaurants on the property have high-quality sit-down facilities, and through various reviews prior to the ordinance adoption, a medical office, which was included in place of a previously contemplated sit-down restaurant, and Town Council also approved a dental office on a different restaurant pad site. And in fact, the MPD, in its plain language, delegates no limit as to how many of each restaurant is permitted on the property. And to support that fact, again, as Ms. Kedron noted, well, yeah, next one, sorry. I believe so. Okay, let's try that. Okay, that seems to work. Sorry, guys. Again, the October 2017 Town Council minutes displayed above show that the developer expressed the importance of permitting restaurant uses by right at any location on the property. We will just point out that the prior application history of this property is especially important to today's discussion. As mentioned, not one of the prior site plan applications were required to submit a concept plan amendment. This is because, again, Section 3B of the MPD development standards clearly state that the concept plan is merely illustrative of the development concepts and is not intended to be an exact or final representation of the specific development. This has not changed. In fact, a dental office, which was not expressly permitted on the approved concept plan, was unanimously approved without a concept plan amendment, and this request is no different. Just reiterating the changes that have been made and unanimously approved by the town, which includes lot lines, building configurations, and uses. Despite these changes, all outlined above in this configuration table, staff and the town found compliance with the development standards and the approved concept plan. Finally, we would just like to point out the lengthy process of this application and its review with limited responsiveness. The only explanation we've received regarding the delay in the site plan application review is that staff requested an updated TIA. We provided an updated TIA on August 4th, 2023, and received 0 feedback to date. We still have not received any feedback to the TIA. Nonetheless, the findings of that TIA showed that Taco Bell will contribute less than 1% of the expected traffic, yet our client is prepared to contribute toward the installation of a traffic light. I will pass the mic to David Gregory with DCG Engineering just to discuss the Taco Bell site plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, David Gregory, DCG Engineering, 1668 Keller Parkway, Suite 100, Keller, Texas, 76248. As mentioned, I'm here to discuss the Taco Bell site plan. I know that that's the very next agenda item, and so I can go into that now or wait until later. It's your choice.
So would you mind, I know you said you're an engineer, are you a traffic engineer who did the TIA? What is your role, sir?
I am the engineer of record that has developed the site plan and engineering plans for Taco Bell.
Okay, got it. Council, do you have any preference? Would you mind if the engineer, Mr. Gregory, brief? Go ahead, sir, since you're already up.
Okay, if we can get to a site plan, do you have one that you can pull up real quick? So as you all are aware, we're trying to develop the one remaining open lot. There we go, the one remaining open lot in the development with the Taco Bell. It's a very uniquely shaped piece of property. It's somewhat representative of a triangle or a piece of pie. And as you can tell, it's very wide at the front and narrows down pretty significantly towards the rear. We have existing common access drives that we cannot alter. Previous developments have done a very good job of providing very good cross access. As you'll see on this site plan, that Taco Bell is shoehorned in there very, very tightly. We were providing a little over 20 parking spaces. Our original iteration of site plan had almost 40 or 42 parking spots that was notated in the staff report incorrectly. Those were removed for a couple different reasons. Is one, to get us down closer to the city recommended parking ratio of closer to 1 per 100. And then two, the front of the property is encumbered by a lot of municipal water easements, and we wanted to keep paving off of those as much as possible and allow us to have space for landscaping and a proposed sidewalk to keep continuity of sidewalks all the way out to 88 Pass. I know that there's been a discussion or a desire, at least in the P&Z, for a sit-down or a more traditional sit-down restaurant. As you see the dimensions of that property and the shape of the property, it would be very difficult to get a restaurant that is more of a traditional sit-down size. That Taco Bell, for reference, is a little over a little over 2,000 square feet, a concept similar to a Chili's or a Brinker product is going to be 6,000 plus square feet. So you would run into a space constraint physically to get the building on there, and then you would run into a parking issue to be able to park out a restaurant of that size. We had had quite a few discussions with city engineers about the overall property access, et cetera. One of the suggestions to help mitigate and lessen some of the traffic potential issues was to place stop signs at the three-way intersection or four-way intersection there towards the front. We've complied with everything that staff has asked. I will be happy to answer questions that you may have on the Taco Bell when you deem appropriate.
Yes, sir. So let me, just for clarification, you are proposing 40 spaces or less than 40
No,
spaces?
the site plan that you have up right now, I can't see the actual number, but I think it's 23, 24, somewhere in there. The staff report referred that we were proposing 40 plus parking spots, and that is a typo in the staff report.
I may have some comments or questions. I was hoping Ms. Parks will be here, Dorothy Parks. I remember working with her and Mr. Johnson way back when. But anyway, I had some questions, but that's regardless. But I don't have any questions for council. Do you have any question for Mr. Gregory? We may call you back, sir, if that's
Yes,
okay
sir.
with you, and same with
Thank you.
Ms. Cadron and Ms. Morrison. Okay, council, if it's okay with you, I'm going to take public comments. If anyone from the members of the audience would like to come forward and speak to the council on this agenda item, you may do so. Please limit your presentation time to 3 minutes. Rachel, do we have anybody?
Mayor
Yes.
and council, I have one, Gene Swank, 421 Mustang Drive, Sunnyvale, wants to speak in opposition.
Good evening, Gene.
Gene Swank, my wife and I, Renee, live at 421 Mustang Drive. We are in the Stone Canyon HOA, which is directly behind the Provident development, and I am currently the Stone Canyon HOA president. I'm here tonight on behalf of our neighborhood to express our strong opposition to the Taco Bell application and variance being requested. Most of our neighbors tonight have school-related activities. Some are out of town, so I'm here to speak for us. I've been involved with the Provident discussions since they began back at the beginning. This was a heavily promoted effort in order to get passed that promised more upscale shopping and family restaurants, dining for our community of Sunnyvale and the surrounding communities. They also stated that this development would not take on the look of Beltline and Highway 80. That is specifically said in their own advertisement. I would argue the kind of businesses, and especially this business, Taco Bell, absolutely looks like the kind of business at Beltline and Highway 80. The residents of our neighborhood from time to time over the years expressed our concern about beer barns and Taco Bell, and we were told that by Provident and their promoters that no, these were not again the kind of businesses that they were going to bring in. Not just Taco Bell, but businesses like Taco Bell. Our neighbors did not want behind our homes low-quality, greasy, fast food and to be subjected to the noise and odors from this restaurant. We were assured over and over by Provident and their promoters that this development was going to have shopping and sit-down family restaurants. These were going to be more upscale, similar to the Provident development at Central Expressway and Royal Lane in Dallas. Obviously, this has not been the case, And with one lot to go, lo and behold, here comes Taco Bell. I was here and spoke against the Taco Bell at the P&Z meeting last month. As you know, this was voted against.
30 seconds.
I'm the only one here from our neighborhood. Are you, I don't have more time than that?
Mayor, can we extend the time for one
Yeah.
resident?
Yes, sir. I will extend the time.
Okay, thank you. After hearing the promises of Provident and their promoters on the front end of this project, promising more upscale shopping and family dining, this was even featured in the Dallas Morning News back in the day, trying to get this approved. Now, here on the back end, we have a couple of attorneys speaking condescendingly to our town. That's what I heard at the P&Z, with apparently prior promises do not matter. Apparently, community input is not needed, and that basically our town has no choice but to accept Taco Bell and its variants. I thought, wow, how arrogant. No, no thank you. What a terrible application. Basically, Provident and their promoters made promises that were not kept. And on the back end now, with one lot to go, here comes Taco Bell with their attorneys basically telling us, you have no rights, you have to accept Taco Bell and its variants. The Stone Canyon HOA asks that our town council please reject this blatant bait and switch, false advertising, and attempt to bully and intimidate a Taco Bell into the last lot in the Provident development. What we would further request is that Provident keep one of the promises of either more upscale shopping or dining for this last lot to be approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Swank. Anyone else would like to come forward and speak to the council? Anyone else, Rachel? Okay, so I'm going to close the public comments. Time for council comments. Since it was mentioned that at least one of the council members was originally part of that application, let me own up. I'm that council member. I was part of the original discussion back in 2017. We did have many meetings with the chamber full of residents expressing concerns about this development. And Ms. Dorothy Parks and Mr. Johnson and the marketing group department, their agents, I should say, did a lot to convince and get council concurrence on it. I do remember asking an example of a development Providence will put in Sunnyvale. And I was referred to the development, Mr. Swank was referring to one on Central Expressway on Royal Lane. I do remember then council member, I wouldn't state her name, but she came into my house on a Saturday morning. We're getting out of my car and going to the same location. We saw Trader Joe, and we saw some nice, fancy places. And we thought, wow, if that's what we are going to get in Sunnyvale, I like it. Let me also read, there was a flyer which was distributed during that time. And it has got pictures of families holding hands, sitting together, enjoying nice restaurants, shopping in good places. Let me read a section from that flyer. Said, Long Creek Crossing, new shopping, dining, recreational opportunities for Sunnyvale families. So this is what it says. Long Creek Crossing is a proposed master plan development that will stop the flow of shoppers, diners, and spending to other cities. Consisting of fast casual dining, in our mind that was Chick-fil-A, we got it, sit-down restaurants, an upscale gas station, not a truck stop, and an in-demand retail partners. For the first time, in Sunnyvale's history, there's a real opportunity to build a desirable and viable retail and dining project for your community. I was hoping Ms. Parks will be here, and I was going to ask her thoughts. Does she agree or does she think that the product Provident has given us and the change they're asking for fits the narrative? Sit-down restaurants, an upscale gas station, not a truck stop, and an in-demand retail partners for the first time in Sunnyvale history. I tend to believe they did not deliver on that. I just want to make that statement, and let me open up for council comments. Mr. Allen?
Mayor, I have a question. I just want to be sure that I am correct in my reading. What was the vote on P and Z for this? Okay, thank you.
So it is unanimous decision for denial from the planning and zoning, and on the mic is not working for the benefit of those who listen. Council, are there any additional questions or comments? Staff, additional comments?
Mayor, I'll ask another question or two.
Mr.
I'll
Allen?
keep it short.
Yes, sir.
When I'm looking through the traffic numbers, it references that a change would bring 10 additional aircraft, 10 additional cars in the morning. Did I read that correct? And then additional, was it 14 in the morning, then additional 10 at evening for a total of 24? Was that what the traffic data showed from what was presented to us? Looks like 10 a.m. I'm sorry. Looks like 14 a.m. and then additional 10 cars in the p.m. Was that the expected traffic that was presented? Is that correct? Did I read that right?
Yes, that's what their 2023 TIA data shows for the new development for Taco Bell.
Just 10 in the morning. What are those hours? Do you know? Is that like 6 o'clock to noon, or is that like 1 hour, or do we know?
Usually the aim peak, and I would let David, the applicant's engineer, answer that, but usually it's the morning peak hours from 6 a.m. to...
Mr. Gregory, would you like to come forward if you have answered? If you don't?
I'm not a traffic specialist, but I do know that the AM peaks are from 7 to 8 and then 8 to 9 in traffic studies. And then you have a PM peak that is usually 5 to 6 and then 6 to 7. And then part of the fallacy in the overall part is when they're doing traffic studies, they group all restaurants together. And typically, you know, a Chick-fil-A or a McDonald's, a restaurant like that has a much larger breakfast draw than Taco Bell. Taco Bell does serve breakfast, but that is by far their lowest generation.
Sir, I have a question for you. If you were expecting 14 cars to come at dinner, why did you plan for 23 parking spots?
City code.
Okay.
City code requires you to park restaurants at one space per 100 square feet. And typically we will provide a couple additional parking spots because you have handicap parking as part of that overall count. And so that allows you to have plenty of parking for staff. It allows you to have parking for the people who ironically will go through the drive-through and then pull around into the parking lot and eat their food in the parking lot instead of go inside the dining room. And it will also allow you to have room for the people who do want to go in and enjoy their meal inside the dining room.
All right, thank you.
Are there additional comments or discussion from the council? Mr. Allen?
Mayor, I do want to acknowledge Gene Swank from our community come in. I remember that night, even though I wasn't on city council, this place was packed. I don't know how many you could put in here, but it was packed from front to back, left to right. And I will acknowledge that I heard the same thing that Mr. Swank said publicly a while ago, those same comments. And I appreciate you reminding us of those comments, Mr. Swank, and the things that were presented that night. Thank you.
Mr. Clark?
Right. I just want to agree with Councilmember Allen's statement. I was not on the council at the time, but I was here. We were listening and watching, and you know, a lot of what was said, a lot of what was promised at the time was, you know, family upscale sit-down restaurants, in-demand retail, and it's, you know, I'm kind of disappointed in what's been provided so far, you know, to date. Now that being said, I do have some concerns about, you know, the added traffic. You know, I'm not a traffic engineer either, but I don't see how lights will help that much anyway. But there's concerns I have about the traffic. Also, I do have concerns about the correct zoning, you know, what we've been discussing right now. So, you know, I do appreciate everybody coming in and sharing and pushing this forward, and let's discuss it as a council. You know, but I just do have some concerns about this development.
Are there additional comments or discussions from the council? Are there additional comments from staff? Okay. If not, can I have a motion? 1 second, let me get the agenda item, make sure it's right. And Rachel will keep me straight.
Item number 7.
I'm sorry? Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Council, can I have a motion with respect to item number 7, please?
Motion to deny.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Eldridge to deny item number 7.
Second.
Second by Mr. Finch. Everyone heard the motion? Are there additional discussions? All in favor signify. All opposed? Motion passed 7-0. Moving on to item number 8, discuss an action item. Item number 8, discuss, consider, and act upon a site plan application for a restaurant with a drive-through Taco Bell, generally located at the southeast corner of South Collins Road and US Highway 80 on an approximate 1.233 acre property described as Lot 2R, Long Creek Crossing Addition, within the Long Creek Crossing MPD zoning district. Mr. Rupa, Ms. Sen, good evening.
The first item I wanted to clarify so if you want to go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So this site plan that was provided in your packet, I know I only cropped the piece. You look at the site data table on the right part of the site plan, it actually says parking provided, required parking 23 spaces, provided parking 40 spaces. That was provided by the applicant, so my fault was I basically did not check the number, so the typo was both ways. They are proposing actually 25 spaces. They're required to have 20 spaces. It's about 2,000 square feet building, 1 story, that is being proposed, a restaurant with drive-through. The site can be accessed through multiple shared driveways from South Collins Road as well as the service road. So the first shared driveway that you can see on your screen is from South Collins Road, that's in between the Chick-fil-A property and this property. As you enter through the drive-through or the shared driveway, take a right, and then the entrance to the drive-through lane is also through the interior drive of the property, to the kind of right-hand side of the building. The confusion with that multiple discussion that the applicant referred to in terms of traffic circulation within the property, as you notice, if you were to act as the driver on this property, you're exiting the drive-through lane of Taco Bell proposed site, and you factor into the people that are exiting from the Chick-fil-A site as well as the Starbucks site, there are certain movements where too many cars are moving in the same direction or in the opposite direction, exiting off of South Collin. That's what triggered most of the requests for the 2023 TIA to establish that the site is laid out and the traffic conditions are suitable to allow this proposed new drive-through restaurant. Oh, sorry. Besides that, the applicant is proposing a 50-foot wide landscape buffer along South Collins Road as well as the Stateway, as well as the US 80 Service Road, which would be landscaped with shade trees and a combination of different kind of shrubs and flowering plants. Overall, 40% of the total site area is proposed to be landscaped. This is their proposed building exterior. It's a combination of their corporate colors for the Taco Bell. That's their new corporate design. The top elevation that is said as front is basically the portion of the building that's facing the interior drive. On the smaller side that's facing Collins is on the top right-hand side of your screen. The proposed Taco Bell site plan meets the technical requirements of the Long Creek Crossing MPD. What we mean by that is the Long Creek Crossing MPD ordinance does have several design standards and design criteria that applies for any new development within that project or within that MPD. They do meet those technical requirements. However, the proposed use, as we have been discussing through the concept plan amendment case that just went through council before this item, is not part of the original approved conceptual site plan, which called for a retail and gas station use on this lot too. So when considered as part of the large master plan development that was approved by town council in 2017, the proposed use does not substantially conform to the approved MPD 02 concept plan. As a result, the concept plan amendment, if not approved by the town council, the proposed Taco Bell site plan will not be compliant with the MPD zoning. Again, this application was presented on the same night, September 28th, to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they recommended denial with a unanimous vote. So that's all I have for this application. If you have any question, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sen. Council, do you have any questions for staff?
I just have one.
Mr. Allen?
Just one. What, was that vote unanimous as well?
Denial, yes.
Additional questions? Mr. Freeman?
I just have a question on, and I just can't think, I was going through my mind. The other restaurants that they have right now, do they have landscaping on them currently? Like, does the Chick-fil-A have landscaping, Starbucks, Taco Bell? I can't for the life of me remember.
We can take a look at that, maybe.
Okay.
If you know the answer, that's why. If not, we can go take a
That's
look
fine.
at it, yeah.
They do have some landscaping,
Okay.
but I don't know whether this extensive.
Thank you.
Additional questions for staff at this time? Thank you, Ms. Sen. We may ask you to come back later. Okay, let me open up for public comments. Anyone from the members of the audience would like to come forward and speak to the council, you may do so at this time.
Mayor and council, I will just put Gene Swank down again. He doesn't have to come forward, but he did note item 8 for his same comments.
Mr. Swan, would you like to come forward again? Same comments. Okay, you can repeat it. Thank you, Mr. Swank. Anyone? Yes, sir, Mr. Gregory, come on in, sir.
I've already gone through most of my case, but I just want to make sure that I was on record that I was here to speak for this. One of the things that I heard a question on, in P&Z, staff combined this with the amendment, so the site plan didn't actually get its own hearing portion of it. And so it was voted together on the P&Z. And then,
We presented together, however, the commission made 2 motions and acted separately on both items.
okay, we were never given an opportunity to speak for the Taco Bell on itself. It was purely about the amendment. To answer your question on the landscaping a second ago, yes, we have more landscaping than the adjacent properties. A large portion of that is, as you know, the property, it has a great deal of slope in the front. It has a lot of easement space in there. It is a triangular shape of property. It's very hard to utilize that with a lot of impervious area, nor will we want to. So we have a very generous amount of landscaping proposed on the site plan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions for Mr. Gregory? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Sang, come on.
Do I need to say my name again?
Would you mind?
Yes, Gene Swank, 421 Mustang Drive.
Thank you.
I just want to state, make sure you have on the record that Provident made a lot of promises about landscaping around the center that to date still has not even been started. We were promised numerous trees that were going to go in to help block the view from our neighborhood into the shopping center. Not one, zero has gone in. So I would take with a grain of salt promises made here tonight for additional landscaping, and that the original landscaping still has not started.
Thank you, Mr. Swank. Anyone else like to come forward and speak to the council? Okay, no one else is coming forward, so I'm going to close the public comments. I think what I read on Ms. Staff's report is what? There's a statement I thought it's interesting. Can you read that for me?
If the concept plan amendment is not approved by the town council, the proposed Taco Bell site plan will not be compliant with the MPD zoning.
Thank you. I think what I'm understanding is since the concept plan change was not approved in the previous motion, so the site plan is not compliant with the MPD zoning. I just want to make sure that I make that statement. Council, are there any comments? Anybody would like to make any comments? Are there any discussions? Okay, if not, can I have a motion with respect to item number 8, please?
Motion to deny.
Second.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Eldred, second by Ms. Danny to deny, reject, or deny item number 8. Everyone heard the motion. Are there any additional discussions? If none, all in favor signify. All opposed, motion passed 8-0. I'm sorry, 7-0. I am so sorry. Item number 8, 7-0 pass, okay. Moving on to item number 9, Mayor and Council requests for future staff updates and agenda items. Council, are there any requests? Okay, if none, can I have a motion to adjourn into executive session? We have 3 things. Item number 10, section 551-071, consultation with attorney, 150 Lawson Road, Sunnyvale, Texas. Item number 11, section 551-072, deliberations about the real property, 371 Long Creek Road, Sunnyvale. Item number 12, section 551-074, personnel matters, town manager annual review. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to go into executive session pursuant to section 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Freeman, second by Mr. Clark to adjourn to executive session. All in favor signify. All opposed? Motion passed. Now time is 8:49. We are back in, executive session. Thanks. Okay, now time is 10:07. We are back in open session. I can confirm that as a result of the executive session, no action needs to be taken. At this time, the meeting is adjourned. Time is 10:07. A motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Freeman, seconded by Mr. Clark to adjourn. All in favor signify. All opposed? Motion passed 7. Meeting is adjourned. Time is 10:07. Rachel, thank you again for keeping me straight.